See, when you get to be a veteran at it, you fill the whole pipe up. You don't just put one rock in. And that's as far as I can do this. 6 months ago, this was a comfortable feeling. It's very, 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 very uncomfortable now.
Weeks, months, or even years after the last dose of cocaine, these triggers can catch a patient and really bring them to their knees with a profound state of desire that they didn't anticipate and that it would have been hard for them to avoid.
I got flashbacks. You know, for a second there, I actually wanted to put a big rock in there. I'm sweating, my hands are sweaty, my underarms feel like Niagara Falls.
Lots of very ordinary objects, the sight of white powder, even sugar in a sugar bowl, that to most people would have no significance, and certainly no emotional significance, has acquired profound abilities to trigger desire and arousal.
The craving can be overwhelming, so the addicts learn psychological techniques to break the association of drugs with pleasure.
One of the behavioral strategies would be having the patient conjure up a very negative image of what things were like when they were at the worst point of their cocaine use. So it might be an image of them in an empty hotel room, on dirty sheets, unshowered, without food, friends, or family. But then follow that image with a very positive image of something that would be associated with non-drug related pleasure if they don't act on the craving.
I think about my daughter and the kid. And I think about my mom too, because to watch the joy in her face to see me not using is a good feeling. But my daughter is my light. That's what makes me feel. That's what made me calm down.
While many people dabble in drugs, not all become addicts like DK. The rate varies with the different drugs, but for those who experiment with cocaine, it's estimated that only 10% end up addicted, while the rest don't. This suggests that some people might be more vulnerable to addiction.
Some people who try heroin find to their surprise and annoyance that within 2 or 3 weeks they're starting to feel sick if they don't have it. There are other people who use heroin at weekends for years without getting addicted, and it's presumably largely a genetic thing as much as anything else.
Are certain people born to be addicts? Most of the work in this area has been done on alcoholism. Scientists have been helped in their research by a curious breed of mouse called C57.
We give the mouse a 2-bottle situation. In one bottle we got 10% alcohol, and the other one they have water. We give this to the animals in single cages, and the next day we measure how much alcohol they've drank and how much water they drank. And C57 mice, they don't hardly touch the water bottle. They go entirely for the alcohol. In fact, they get such high levels they actually begin to stagger.
Despite their name, C57 are just a normal breed of common house mouse. While most mice are teetotal, for some reason, C57 prefer alcohol to water.
What does the mouse experience? It's brought up in a cage. It doesn't have TV advertising. It doesn't have brothers and sisters who are telling it drink or don't drink. It doesn't have a father who's abused it. It doesn't have all this other environmental factors that have been thought somehow to relate to why some people drink. They're brought up in a simple environment where there's the cage, there's the food, there's alcohol, there's water. Everything is the same. So the only thing that is different is what's inside the animal. It's genes that are getting it to drink or not to drink.
It's all very well studying mice, but could genes for alcoholism ever be found in humans? Ernie Noble has dedicated his career to searching for this gene.
One here. That's the one that contains the brains of the alcoholics, right? Yes.
We are fortunate because we had been gathering brains from the Brain Research Bank here of alcoholics who had died, severe alcoholics, and controls who were non-alcoholics. So we decided to get these brains and examine them for genes that might be involved in alcoholism.
They took samples of brain tissue and carried out genetic tests on them. When the gene results from alcoholics were compared with non-alcoholics, something remarkable appeared. A particular gene, the double band shown on the left, was common to most of the alcoholics. This gene plays a crucial role in controlling dopamine.
I was absolutely flabbergasted in terms of the gene, the dopamine receptor gene. None of the others showed any association. But it was so highly significant that we repeated the experiment to make sure we weren't half-crocked, and it came out the same way.
The results are controversial, but if true, it means that people who possess the gene have a greater risk of becoming alcoholic. In Brisbane, Australia, Ernie Noble's theory is being put into practice. Vincent has a family history of alcoholism.
On my father's side, it was just rampant right through. All his sisters, his cousins, his own father and grandfather, and unfortunately I recognised it coming in myself.
Vincent has struggled with drink all his life. His DNA was tested at Ernie Noble's lab, and sure enough, he has the gene, making him vulnerable to alcoholism.
Many times I was actually drinking, but I was in a complete blackout. You could be in a blackout or a semi-blackout for, a couple of weeks. Forget even where you live sometimes, yeah.
Having the gene doesn't absolutely make you become an alcoholic. It shows that you have a tendency or a trend or a proclivity to become an alcoholic.
Vincent's been going to the Royal Brisbane Hospital. He's undergoing experimental treatment that for the first time distinguishes between the alcoholics that have the gene and those that don't.
Hello, Ross.
It was hoped that those with a high-risk gene, such as Vincent, would do much better on a drug that specifically bolsters the dopamine system. The idea seems to work.
I can't put my finger on anything definite with the treatment. It just did it. But it sneaked up on me, it sort of.
Yes.
And it just changed me.
I think it's given you the stability in your life and a bit of an opportunity to do something, but it was up to you to really do the hard work.
That's right, yeah. If they hadn't have put me on that program, that would have been the end of me. I wouldn't be sitting here today. There's no... If the alcohol hadn't have killed me, I'd have killed myself. I started when I was 18. I'm 68 today, and that's a pretty long time, And, for me to just be able to turn my back on drink and not have it bother me in any way is just a miracle. It's just remarkable.
Alcoholism is not a uniform disorder. They're genetic type, environmental type. Now we treat both the same way. I think you will see as this research begins to develop and grow, soon we will identify a certain type of alcoholics with genetic type and treat them with pharmacological agents, and the other type, environmental type, will be treated with other kind of approaches.
This program doesn't suit everybody. I mean, you've got to be genetically positive to the particular DNA test. But even if there's 4 out of 10 people that it can help, I can guarantee it will give them a real decent chance at life, and especially if they can get it earlier than I did.
Good. Yeah. Isn't this fun? Isn't this fun, Beavis?
They're still searching for a specific gene for nicotine addiction, but if they ever find one, the chances are John will have it. He was 12 when he started smoking. He peaked at 90 cigarettes a day.
I would always light a cigarette before